it's meeting 16 of Footballland.
Son, tell them about Footballland.
Footballland is the one for me. Footballland is the one for me. Good for you and your baby. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Footballland. I love it. I actually do.
My name is Anthony Richardson and I am the CEO of Footballland.
My name's Mark Davison and I'm the Lord of the Ride Engineering of Footballland.
My name is Ryan Baxter and, oh God, I'm just so busy.
And we've been given accidentally $1 billion by the state of Qatar to build a football-themed theme park in Qatar for the World Cup in 2022 in Qatar. And it's called Footballland. And here's a list of the rides we have come up with so far.
The Leicester City Fairyland, the Tunnel of Wagner /Donald /Joachim Love, Jimmy Conrad's Conrad Biscan 3000, Steve Mechanical Bull, Marek Larwood's Football Hunger Games, Sir Alex Ferguson's Mind Game Simulator, Nima Dudra's Betrail Monorail,
Ascothiation Noshball, Steve Cabaret,
the School Sports Football Simulator,
Ultimate Meat and Potatoes Miniature Fun Fair,
Hasta la Vista Baby, the Eric Cantona Experience,
Wags Corner,
Zinedine Zidane's Mamma Mia Mayhem,
Flashbang Benjamin Massing,
Benjamin Massing is coming to get you,
the Watford manager Whack-A-Mole,
Wayne Lineker, Wayne's World,
the England National Horror House,
Roy Keane, Stick It Up Your Dodgems,
the Elland Roller Coaster.
Now, fellas, gentlemen, lads, boys, the men, it's a very special meeting today, a very important meeting. It's Infrastructure Day here at Footballland Towers, Footballland HQ. We have talked so much about rides and designing. We've had our design hats on for so long now that we have neglected quite a key part of a theme park, and that's what the theme park is actually going to look like and how you put the rides into the theme park itself. We're talking maps, we're talking zones, we're talking areas. Just like at your Thorpe Parks, at your Disneys, at your Alton Towers, they all have different zones. Ryan, if you'd like to explain a little bit, because you've told us about this before, Mark hasn't been to a theme park since he was 11.
Well, we've not even discussed yet where stuff goes.
No.
We've got nearly 30 rides now, kind of 30 rides, events and experiences. We've got around 10 different facilities, so this really is kind of the time to kind of tackle that. One of the biggest problems we've got is the Squeaky Bum Time Arena. It's the jewel in our crown. It's in the middle of the park.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's a central feature. It has to be.
No matter what angle you view it from, because you can view it from absolutely every angle in the park because it's a giant arena. Stadium. It looks like a bum.
That's not accidental. That's deliberate.
Yes.
Yeah, it's called the Squeaky Bum Time Arena. It looks like a bum, and you can blow your vuvuzelas up through the rectal passage in the roof.
Yeah, and that's the problem. When you place some of the other rides close to them, I don't know, the Wagner Tunnel of Love, if he appears sort of behind, facing the stadium, it is not a good look. The same sort of goes for the plasticast model of Alan Hansen in the Alan Hansen's Lost Childhood tournament. They look a bit rude. And there's only one angle, I would say, that is kind of okay from, and that's sort of if we view it from the Durex Total Smuttable Red Light District.
Yeah.
So we need to have a little think about what goes where.
Okay.
It's a challenge, and we need to kind of. It's not just the sort of sexy inappropriateness stuff that is a bit of an issue. It's also some of this stuff is quite dangerous. You know, there's live rounds being fired from the sort of Jurgen Klopp's clip-clop trots. You know. That can't be too close to...
But that's not a dangerous thing. That's a safety thing. That's to stop children
That's
dying.
safety, Ryan. Yeah, there is a difference between animals going berserk and needing to be humanely shot and, you know, a bad safety record.
I think it would be more dangerous to not have gunfire in that area.
Right. Yeah. I just want you both to maybe go away and have a little think about how we could maybe organise things. You should, you know, yes, okay, danger and sexy inappropriateness, one thing that I'd like you to think about that I have sort of been saying for a little while, and it's not maybe sunk in yet, but the other thing is, how do we organise things? You know, when you do go to theme parks, and again, I don't want to explain theme parks to people, but they tend to be in zones and areas, you know, and we've got a whole model of things. You know, we've got different eras, different styles of rides, you know, different age groups, sort of different like height requirements and dietary requirements and physical appearance requirements. You know, how are we going to lay these out?
Planning is what you're talking about.
Yes. Yes, planning.
Mark and I actually, Ryan, have gone away and thought about this.
Oh.
So we have actually come up with some solutions to your problems. You're naysaying. You can't put that next to that because children don't want to see a giant cock. I'd like to propose a solution.
Yeah.
What is Footballland? When you hear and it's one word, what do you think of when you hear the word Footballland?
The first thing I think is 2 words with a gap in the middle.
A country. It's a country. Or it's a land. It's a land shaped like a football.
Right.
Okay?
I didn't understand the question.
So imagine from an aerial view, you look at the park and you see a giant football, and we split up the park into 6 regions named after the 6 regions that make up FIFA. I'm talking UEFA.
Yeah.
I'm talking ConMeBol. I'm talking ConCaCaCaCaCaf. I'm talking the Asian Federation, CAF, the African Federation, Oceania Town.
Right.
6 zones. And each zone is culturally specific to that part of the world.
Okay.
They're true to their federation. So UEFA, we don't call them just UEFA or ConMeBol. We call them fun things like UEFA-Land, ConMeBol Close, like a close in a road, Asian Federation Avenue, ConCaCaCaCaf Cul-de-Sac, Caf Place de Caf, because a lot of French speakers, it's a very francophonic continent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Africa, Caf Place, and Oceania Town.
Yeah.
Oceania, it could be like an ocean themed, but not.
The Oceania
a town under the sea. Yeah, Oceania Archipelago.
Yeah.
So, for example, UEFA-Land is very crowded, very French/Spanish, despite all the English and the Germans doing sort of all the legwork.
Yeah.
ConMeBol, it's exotic, it's feisty. Some of it's at very high altitude, and sometimes there's big fences that you have to climb over if you're a referee to avoid people trying to kick you up the bum.
Right.
Asia Avenue, full of screaming fans. Anytime you do a bicycle kick, you get applauded.
Yeah.
Caf Place, continent of infinite, it's such a large continent. It's tough to generalize about it, but it should just be pyramids and a sphinx
and a cafe.
Right.
ConCaCaCaF Cul-de-Sac, very American, but quite apathetic towards everything going on. It's an oasis if you don't like football. And Oceania Town, I'm not quite sure, under the sea perhaps, but I'm not sure what it is. It does seem very easy to qualify from there. So maybe we should have it a very easy place, like it's cashless. You just pay by card. The queue system is more fluid in that part of UEFA queue system for each ride is quite actually opaque and complicated.
Okay.
But the queuing system in Oceania under the Sea Archipelago is actually very simple.
Right.
So basically then you divvy up all the rides into the zones based on what federation they represent. So to be fair, we've done a lot of UEFA.
It's mostly UEFA, isn't it?
European rides, haven't we? Yeah. But Luis Suarez can be South American. Crash Band Benjamin Masson can be Africa.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got anything for any other continent, but let's work on that. That's
right.
Earmarked some opportunities to think of some more continent-specific rides.
Your solution is based on creating more work?
My solution is based on the fact that UEFA is very crowded. So 90% of the rides could still be in UEFA-Land.
I slightly think what all you've done is highlighted the problem in that UEFA is going to be very, very dense. And then the rest of it is going to be a bit sparse and rubbish.
I guess my question is people struggle to, as you have yourself in your explanation, sort of pronounce these very long-winded sort of acronyms.
Yeah.
Maybe is there a way of sort of portmanteauing a famous player onto the end of any of these?
That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, well, you could have Messiville for South America.
Yeah,
surely he's
I know
UEFA.
where that is.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, you need a player that's only spent their career really in that continent.
Who embodies UEFA the most? I say UEFA, you say...
Dean Windass.
Platini. Michel Platini.
Dean Windass.
Is he still disgraced?
Well, people can be forgiven, and maybe if we have a giant statue of Michel Platini, you know, with all the flags of Europe draped along him and maybe him smiling, and that will go a long way to sort out his PR. And
it could sort out our
maybe
PR.
Maybe a halo on him.
It could do our PR some good if we pardon him. We pardon him in order to be the face of UEFA face.
Yeah. Can we have Jack Warner for ConCaCaCaCaf?
Yeah.
Because again, a disgraced man, or Chuck Blazer.
Not in our world. In our world, he's a lovely, fine, upstanding gentleman because we've rehabilitated him via the beauty of football. Now it's starting to make sense, I think.
The trouble is, though, I don't know, I was thinking for Oceania Archipelago, we'd have Tim Cahill punching a corner flag. But if we've got Platini, Jack Warner, you think, are these actually FIFA administrators or are they players? I think we need to go one route or the other, and I've already made sketches of the corner flag being punished.
Well, for Oceania, I was going to suggest Steve Smith of Australian cricket in keeping with the pardoning stuff. So
who was the fellow? Who's the New Zealand fellow who sort of ripped his hamstring off, sort of totally disconnected his sort of bum from his leg at the World Cup?
Jonah Lomu?
Who cares? We could theme it. I'd put the kids in that zone. It's fine. You could even theme it a bit like The Little Mermaid.
Is Japan part of Oceania?
No, Japan is very much part of Asia.
Oh, yeah. Since when?
But was Australia part of Asia?
It's part of the Eurovision Song Contest now, Australia, if that helps.
So it's basically UEFA. This is the problem. We've got a lot of countries that seem to be moving around the globe, and it's hard to convey that in a theme park.
I've just remembered who it was. It was Ryan Nelson. He totally bum and hamstring came apart. And if we went back to players, we could, Oceania Town, that could have like a Nelson's column.
Yes.
It's high, it's tall, you can see
just
it
a
from
bum sliding down it.
Yeah, and like a leg maybe sliding down. His bum's still attached to his back, but the leg comes off at different times, maybe on the hour.
Like the Greenwich Meridian thing where, it tells the time. You stand and watch, and it's only when the bum slides down the column that you know, it's 1 o'clock.
I think maybe players is more of the answer. They're more recognisable.
Well, could we have Ronaldo for UEFA? Because he kind of represents a continent more than any other player currently. Lots of idiots. They either love Messi or they love Ronaldo. So perhaps we have Messi and Ronaldo in their respective zones. If we put Messi back in ConMeBol Bowl, then they can be looking towards each other from either ends of the park in a pugilistic pose.
But with grudging respect in the glints in their eye. I mean, it's quite a tall order for a sculpturist to do that, but it must do that.
The trouble is, then we've got to make a statue of someone from North America, and can we just make a dwarf statue, perhaps?
That's fine. We've already got the Conrad 3000.
Jimmy Conrad.
Yeah. There's no higher honour. I mean, there probably is higher honours because we'll probably want to put the other statues higher so you can see them, and maybe have his on a plinth rather than an actual column. I've got two alternatives to Messi, and this is, probably going to set the Twitter alight and that, but we've got Pele and we've got Maradona.
They're not very current. I mean, when I see Pele now, I think erectile dysfunction first and foremost, and then I think best player to ever play the game.
Could, rather than he be stood on a plinth, could he not have a massive hard-on and be sort of be the tip of that be on the tip of the penis be on the floor, and he looks like he's sort of planking
like
at the top of a column. It's only when you get up close you see it's a sort of veiny, throbbing hard-on.
And it could be above a pharmacy. So you could still have the Pele ethos of helping men in their 70s, get it on, for goodness sake. Come on, thank you, Pele.
Hello, I'm Mark Davison from Off Footballland. I like designing fairground rides and I love all things Brazilian. I wish you could see the crazy Brazilian dancing I'm doing. It's really good. And I like to bang. Most weekends sees me going at it like the ruddy clappers, but recently it's been less of this and more of this. So I spoke to my good friend Brazil's Pele, and I told him about my problem, and he replied with this.
My father, he told me, my mother, my father, when I born in a small town Interland of Brazil, called Three Hearts.
Which didn't actually help me at all. So don't bother actually talking to him. Instead, go into Pele's own pharmacy, located on site at Footballland, and get yourself a packet of Pele's Power Penis Pills. Just get it up and get it on. Any last messages, Pele?
Pele.
Yeah, that's your name. Anything else?
Pele.
Yeah, okay. Pele's Power Penis Pills. What if we have each representative of each footballing region is standing in their zone but facing the Squeaky Bum Time Arena, which is the centre point of the park? What if they all have stonking great horns and their penile tips meet over the Squeaky Bum Time Arena in a kind of suggestion of unity and worldwide harmony?
And multiple penetration.
No. There's nothing sexual about it at all. It's like when soldiers put their swords together in a kind of
over cross swords. Yeah.
It's crossed. Yeah. The crossed penises of World Footballing Union.
Right.
Yeah. No, I like that.
I think we need to make sure that they're definitely pointing upwards. Very much. Away from the opening of the Squeaky Bum Time Arena, rather than sort of seeming to be threateningly sort of lunging towards it.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, if Mark Viduka or whoever it is from Oceania Town is kind of represented proportional to his impact on the world stage and Oceania Town's impact, i.e. he's a tiny midget, he's going to have a massive penis to reach the others.
And a lot of them do, mate. A lot of them do.
Well, I don't think Mark Viduka's going to object.
No.
Oh, excuse me, Mark, do you want us to build you with a massive, great penis? He's not going to say no.
No, he wouldn't. Why would he? I like the idea, though, still of Ryan Nelson's dislocated, sawn-off bum.
Yeah.
Could we still have that, but, you know, just on a plaque somewhere? Or maybe it's one of those feely, tactile things you can feel, I don't know, in some sort of tank, like a petting zoo.
It's sort of still got some function. It's still trying to make, you know, very agricultural clearances. And as a result, that's propelling it around the sort of the fountain at the bottom of Nelson's column. And you can stroke it like you can sort of like a manta ray. Like you can touch those if you go to, you know, SeaWorld.
I'm imagining Ryan Nelson's bum a lot like it. I mean, you're talking about aquariums here. I'm imagining it like a kind of octopus, really, a big semi-liquid thing that propels itself around by inflating itself and then squashing itself again. There's something quite lovely about Ryan Nelson's bum in a fish tank, isn't there?
And then you can have the children feeding him up a ladder. You know, you pay $5 and you get a tuna. And you throw it in. Ryan Nelson just gobbles that down, you know, give it a few flakes for his bum. Maybe his little dislocated, sawn-off bum's got a little mouth as well, and it can eat some of the flakes, like goldfish flakes. And it's just a fun experience.
Yeah, although tunas are about the size of an average child.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have a scissor lift for the child and then a scissor lift for the tuna. And then the child just sort of pushes the tuna in rather than holding it. Maybe they could pose with it. We sort of have an elevated camera, like a spider cam, kind of is up there and it's seeing it, all of it. It's getting it all in detail so you can sort of buy the DVD or digital download later. That's put my mind at ease about Oceania Town.
I've got a slight alternative for ConMeBol Cul-de-Sac. Do you remember when Professor Stephen Hawking died and Neymar put out an Instagram photo of him in a wheelchair pretending to have muscular dystrophy?
It was a beautiful tribute, I thought.
You know, it was a lovely, beautiful tribute of him sitting down with his head cocked in what critics called an extremely, deeply offensive pose, misguided.
They didn't get his genius, did they?
They didn't understand either of their geniuses, and who's to say that Neymar isn't more of a genius than Professor Stephen Hawking? But could we have Neymar, a statue of Neymar in that wheelchair pose for ConMeBol Cul-de-Sac, even if it's just him, a small statue of him outside the pharmacy, the Pele pharmacy?
Maybe at the bottom of the penis. Because I still quite like the idea of Pele planking his own giant penis.
Yeah. Well, that's essentially the best advert you can get for Viagra, isn't it? You know, you could have
this stuff
a member
really
so
works.
stiff. Can people climb up it? Could it be like a fertility symbol, like on Midsummer's Day, like at Stonehenge? Could maidens dressed with daisies in their hair, could they climb up Pele's penis and perform like a fertility blessing on it?
I'd be in favour of that. I'd like to see that for sure.
Maybe find another expression other than fertility blessing on it.
Could the daisy hairbands be attached to the veins that run along Pele's penis, and it's kind of like a ski lift taking people to the apex?
And we can charge people. I'm all about money. If we charge fertility maidens $5 each to climb that we need to get some pagans and some druids from Wales to bless it.
Yeah.
You know, and as soon as they do that, people will flock. It's like when a new vegan restaurant comes up, because of the Facebook groups, you know, it becomes very popular.
Yeah.
Just like that, but with pagan druids and, you know, climbing centres. Asia, we haven't thought of an Asian statue
I was
yet.
just thinking about Shinji Kagawa. He's probably the most famous.
Park Ji-sung?
Minamino for me.
Shinji Kagawa. Did he have a nickname?
The Big Shin, I think. Yeah, the Big Shin.
Shinji Kagawa could have massive shins.
Yeah.
And because people are not so bright and we need them just to be able to visually look, so they go, oh, there's Pele planking a penis.
Yeah.
There's Ryan Nelson doing,
with his bum off,
aqua aerobics with his bum off.
Yeah.
Shinji Kagawa is all shins.
I'm getting an idea for the opening ceremony that we do every day, which is if each of these have a body part which is of greater significance than the rest of their bodies, what if, so Kagawa's shins detached, Ryan Nelson's bum we know is detachable. If Pele's penis is detachable, maybe all of these, each person from each region detaches one part of their body and it comes together as a single kind of FIFA-esque organism, with Ryan Nelson's bum, Pele's penis, Shinji Kagawa's shins.
Jimmy Conrad's head, because he scored a header, didn't he?
That's good.
So it'd be Jimmy Conrad's head.
And Ronaldo's pecs, then.
It's a bit like a kind of Transformers or like Captain Planet.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Captain Footballland. Maybe they come together to create a Captain Footballland.
Captain Footballland is good.
And he could be a mascot and we could sell stuff with him.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that back to the corporate side, Ryan. I'm really impressed by that.
Money.
Yeah.
Another money-making idea that would also save the reputation of Neymar. We get him to write his version of A Brief History of Time, proving that he's just as much of a genius and he wasn't mocking Stephen Hawking. And then we sell that in the gift shop. There's Stephen Hawking's version, obviously, which I don't know if you've ever tried to read it. It's not very good.
Dense.
It's not very good. It's badly written and it doesn't make any sense. Whereas Neymar could put it in more layman's terms. I'd love to read Neymar's Brief History of Time.
That just leaves us with CAF then, doesn't it?
Well, for me, CAF, it's George Weah.
Well, I'd initially thought Mark Fish, but then I thought you probably don't want Mark Fish too close to Ryan Nelson because that's going to end in tears.
Yeah.
Let's think about Lucas Radibi.
Yeah,
you
know, for sure.
Whether it's Radibi or Radibi, however you want to pronounce it, one of the greatest African players for me. Maybe we have him and George Weah sort of fight it out.
Yeah, on a weir. George Weah's weir. So it's a canal with George Weah presiding over the weir, and Lucas Radibi or Radibi fighting him for control of that weir.
Could they be jousting?
And that represents the struggle of the African Cup of Nations. Yeah, they're jousting.
Jousting with their raging horns.
That works, yes, Mark.
I mean, you put that on a weir and instantly it's poetic and artistic. If it's just two people slapping each other with their own penises, then who wants to watch that? But put it on a weir and it's cinema.
But it's randomised. Every day people can bet on who's going to win that joust because the winner raises it up and raises it over the Squeaky Bum Time Arena in triumph.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a third name into the arena solely, as we rightly should be thinking commercially. Sammy Eto'o. Sammy Eto'o's toe. A really crucial bit of a footballer's anatomy.
And in Greek mythology as well, because we all remember that Zeus, he lost his toe.
Achilles' toe was his weak point, wasn't it?
Samuel Eto'o's toe. It's not a big toe. It's one of the middle toes, like your ring finger toe. But it's such an important toe nonetheless, because otherwise Captain Footballland cannot stand. And that's the rhyme. Captain Footballland cannot stand without the big toe from Sammy Eto'o. But it's not the big toe, it's the middle ring finger toe.
It should be the E toe, shouldn't it? It should be the E toe.
Yeah, the E toe. So A, B, C, D, E is the little toe.
He's maybe laying on his back. He's got his feet up and his toe's so big you can see the toe cresting anywhere in Footballland.
All right, well, I'm ready to vote on this. Are you guys ready to vote?
Yes, I am.
So all in favour of the proposed park plan of splitting it into the federation zones and having a big statue from each, their penis rising up over the Squeaky Bum Time Arena in perfect symmetry, say aye.
Aye. Amazing. Strong stuff.
Oh, he lives inside the grandstand. He wears the captain's armband. He's good at keeping uppy as he saves a little puppy. Captain Footballland. Captain Footballland.